New Mission Motorsports newest podcast. Today it's just myself, Corey Harrigus, and we got Marty Brown in the house. This isn't awkward enough. I'm going to try to sound entertaining. First off, I want to just do a quick introduction of who we are. My name is Corey Harrigus. I am a military veteran of over 11 years, and I made this channel to help out veterans that in need and their families. I'd like to know, Marty, from you, your background and experience a little bit. Also, what got you into racing?
For me, I come from a law enforcement background. I've been in law enforcement, I think, 10 plus years. I think I started in 2009, I believe, February. I think a week before the 500 to be exact, because I had to miss it. But yeah, I've been into racing all my life. My dad was a racer, raced whenever I was younger. Just kind of always into it, always into watching it, everything behind it. Most of my friends don't care for racing, so it's awkward whenever I bring it up and stuff like that, and they don't understand why people just turn left. But I try and explain the sciences behind it and stuff like that, but they just don't get into it. But slowly I'm trying to get back into the group there at the track and kind of enjoy more, in the pits, that brotherhood, and just kind of getting back to that.
It's kind of hilarious. You said the science is behind it. I run into the same thing because I enjoy the physics of it, the drafting, the side drafting, how to make moves and stuff like that. And I get the same exact thing from my family. Like my wife just tolerates it, as most wives probably do. But I love actually like thinking about what the next move is going to be on the track for these in real life racers. And I grew up around the short tracks with my grandparents. Unfortunately, my grandma just passed away. She's the one that got me into it most. But my mother and father, my mom and dad, never liked racing. So it was only me in the house that liked racing. And I've always wanted to do it. iRacing has been a way for me to actually do it. I'm sure it's probably the same with you. At least you get to experience that way. But unfortunately, most of our crew can't make it here today. But hey, instead of, don't really want to beat a dead horse, what do you think of the Clash?
The Clash, the last chance qualifier got pretty interesting. I like how some drivers really started to learn how you can push one vehicle into another, so you're not technically crashing them yourself. You're using a bumper in between you to crash somebody else. That was pretty neat. But last chance qualifier got really fun. Everything else was it was mediocre. I think the intro took a while. Most people didn't like the halftime. I did like the halftime. I grew up with, Ice Cube and stuff like that. I like what NASCAR is trying to do as far as the diversity, of these things. The cars had to get off the track for a little while so they would cool down and stuff. They still had some braking, but it was just nice that they're attempting to not change the sport, but make the sport more diverse. Especially with these short tracks, it'd be awesome like to go to Bowman Gray, or kind of like what I think it's SRX racing is doing, going to all these different places. There's so many people around the country that have never been to a NASCAR race, like heard them, smelled them, anything. If they can get, these little races and get to these different little pockets in the United States, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be really good for the sport.
I'd love to see Bowman Gray. Bowman Gray is pretty close to me, I think, here in Virginia. You're up in, oh no, you're in Louisiana. I keep getting you and Hump mixed up. I'm sorry. Hump unfortunately can't make it right now. Just got a message from Hump. Actually, they're still out doing groceries, so rest his soul.
Yeah, and for them, grocery shopping is probably like trekking through like 5 feet of snow and shooting a caribou and bringing them back, because he's up in northern Maine. So
yeah, he's up there up in the tree grocery shopping right now. He's probably got himself some whiskey to keep him warm.
Yeah, by the message saying grocery shopping's taking longer than expected, like the field dressing, maybe the knife wasn't sharp or something like that. So it's
hopefully
taking a little longer.
Yeah. Only brought a spoon to carve it up with,
Yeah, it was a moose instead of a caribou this time.
This will feed the family for a month. Yeah. Well, I was actually just up there not too long ago. I got to experience that race up in New Hampshire. And man, if you ever get a chance to go up there, I recommend it. That was a good track. you ever want to come to Martinsville, that's only about an hour from here. You got a place to crash, dude.
Yeah, that's something that we've been talking about. I really want to see a race there. There's so many classic races, that happened at Martinsville. I would love to get out there. I hear like it's amazing. So I had talked to Keith about it one time, like just trying to, either fly or drive out there. And
Yeah, Martinsville, God, what is it, like an hour and 15 minutes for me? It's not that far. I've been to Bristol, New Hampshire, Martinsville. I'm getting ready to go to the Roval this year. But out of those tracks that I've seen, Martinsville was by far the best. I enjoyed it. And TV does not do it justice. It's a lot bigger than you think.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot bigger, but it still has the same aspect of, it's like so close quarter that, no matter where you're at there, it's kind of like Bristol. Everything's a good seat. So.
And I'm stormed by my kids again. That's great.
And it happens. It happens.
Those of you out there listening to this eventually, hey, we do have kids.
Yep. No matter what you plan, it will not go to plan when you have kids.
Pretty much. Was there I gotta admit, man, after watching the Clash last week, Suarez really surprised me. I don't know about you. He was fast. Like, he was bad fast. So I got to give him credit. I mean, you got anybody that kind of surprised you at all?
Not a certain person, but I like that, some of your big names didn't make that race. With only starting 23, you didn't have, some of the big guys. So you had these smaller guys, like even, Rick Ware Racing. We know how everybody picks on Rick Ware Racing, but I mean, you had a car that made the field and actually did well. It was good to see all these younger guys, these smaller teams actually get out there and get such prime time, television time.
Yeah, I wrote down some notes on that and I can't find it, man. I've got so many notes. I don't know if you can see this, but probably not, but I was a little busy.
You overnoted your notes.
I overnoted it and I was like, where did I put Rick Ware? Somewhere in here. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I mean, Rick Ware did a huge thing. I'm still a little torn on the Matt DiBenedetto, Ward Burton, or not Ward Burton, Jesus Christ, what's that kid? Harrison Burton switch. Because Harrison Burton was part of that TRD racing development that Toyota racing development program. And I was confused at the fact that they gave him up to go to a Ford with Woods Brothers. I don't know how you feel about DiBenedetto. I like the guy. I thought he was a good dude. I know he didn't perform the greatest until last year. I think he got kind of a raw deal on that.
I hold hard feelings against DiBenedetto because he eliminated Jimmy Johnson out of the playoffs in Jimmy Johnson's retirement years. So no, I mean, decent racer, but he is. I mean, I don't think he's lived up to the hype that
he
was
hasn't.
surrounding him.
He hasn't. He's just one of those good guys that I felt like, it's like, man, come on, give the dude a chance. I get it, but looks like we got another friend of ours coming in here.
Oh, look, an alien.
Look at that dude. Jamie Kraus in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, ladies? I'm doing a little engine maintenance this morning.
Oh, nice.
For a second there with the hat, I was like, look at that. We got a fireman here. Yeah. Look at the bill on that hat.
But she's flat, boys. She's flat.
It's like the Sandlot.
Yeah.
Big fishing hat.
Yeah.
He's standing on a skateboard while working on that truck.
Yeah, shit. I need like a ladder or something to get in this thing.
With that mustache, I feel like I've seen you in like a 70s porno.
You have. They call me Dirk.
Yeah. Don't worry, ladies. The camera ends 10 pounds in about a few inches, so it's a lie.
And it's a bummer when you're not even starting off with a few inches.
Yeah.
At least spot a couple, right?
We can just call it net code.
Net code. She didn't actually have an orgasm. She blinked a lot. That's it.
Yeah. She has epilepsy.
Wrong.
So if you talk about this in like iRacing terms, like you gave her like an 8X or something like that.
Definitely an 8X. And wheel damage.
Just
Meatball.
hobbling around the track at this point. Just park it. No, Jamie, thanks for joining us. We're actually just talking about the Benedetto and his move from the Cup Series to trucks. The fact that Harrison Burton was moved up to from TD or not TDR. We'll keep that one out of here. TRD. And like, to me, it was more of a shock that Toyota Racing Development let him go into a Ford with the Woods brothers. Looks like Marty and I kind of not see eye to eye completely, but it's okay on Matt Benedetto. I like the guy as a person. I was kind of hoping he gets a chance, a little more. I can understand your feelings. Obviously, you're a Jimmy Johnson fan.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's tough because I'm not a Chevy guy, but Jimmy Johnson did a lot for the sport. What do you feel about the Benedetto there, Jamie? Do you feel anything on that one?
No.
Wow. What, straight to the point.
I got oil on my nose, though.
Sure, that's oil.
Yeah. I mean,
There you have it, people. He even emits oil. He is alien.
Yeah. Just because there's something brown on your nose and you're under the hood of a truck does not make it oil.
Right. People run over all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't really know. Like I don't watch NASCAR that much. And I'm a Chevy guy, and
okay,
but I'm a Kevin Harvick fan, so it's like a conundrum, right? Like, do I support Ford or do I support Harvick? And I have to, at this point, sadly, I support Harvick.
That's a good point.
But Benedetto, I don't know much about, and that's it. I can't really speak on that. Like, I know he's a decent race car driver. He doesn't like wreck people. He's not dirty. I don't know who his like family is in the racing world, because I know Moffitt is related to Petty. He's like a grandson of Petty. But that's about all I know.
See, bring up another good point too, because I mean, it's no secret to you guys. Keselowski is my driver. I follow him, and when he was leaving Penske, there was that rumor going around that, hey, does Hendrick have a spot for him? And I don't like Chevy, so excuse me, but I'd prefer a Ford. And follow, like, I was like, okay, do I follow the guy or do I stick with the manufacturer? Thankfully, he ended up in a Ford for me. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not too concerned about the clash when it came to Brad. I was thinking there at the end, maybe he was driving more like an owner rather than a race car driver because he was holding back. Like, well, I don't want to crash my car if I'm not going to make it type thing. But
yeah,
I mean, there was nothing. There was no aggressiveness from him.
We were talking about the bigger teams. Maybe that was something too. Now that you said that, they're trying to save stuff. So maybe that's why a lot of them really didn't push it to get into the show, because you have only a limited amount of stuff, especially going into the 5.
Well, they said that there's still like a supply chain shortage. There's still a limited amount of cars made. And that was started to become my concern because, like, he was completely just lay back and whatever I get. Where I was hoping that he would drive up through there. And I mean, we don't know the logistics behind it on our end, so
yeah.
But it was pretty disappointing.
So you're basically you're a manufacturer guy, like not a driver, but a manufacturer. Like you'll follow a manufacturer before you'll follow a driver.
No, I mean, I've been a Brad Keselowski fan for years. Back in 2009 when, I mean, Carl Edwards was my guy for a while.
He's the man. Carl Edwards is the man.
That hair.
But
oh, you want my hat or the hair, homie?
I love the hair. The hair's longer than the hat.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she's got something to hold on to. No, I mean, I liked Carl Edwards and Brad both as people back then, and then the incident in 2009 at Talladega, which really to me wasn't a big thing. It sucked. Fan got hurt, from what I remember. But what happened at, I believe it was Gateway between Carl and Brad back then, that turned me off of Carl. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but he just straight dumped Brad going down the front stretch. Like they were off the turn, and Brad ended up getting driver's side doored by a car coming full speed. And I was like, that's a bit dirty. So I leaned more towards Brad at that point. Now with Carl gone, and I'd love to have him back. I just love to have Carl
Isn't
back.
there a talk to have Carl Edwards coming back? Like he was like,
I've
or
heard
is
the
that
rumors.
just like some kind of like forum thing that I saw that's not real?
I've heard the rumor. Marty, have you heard anything? I don't know.
I thought I had come across something like that.
Because I like
sure.
Carl Edwards. He's a wheeling son of a bitch, man.
Oh yeah.
That dude could drive on dirt, and I know it sounds dumb, but like I met him a couple times when I was a kid. And he was always super kind. He even threw a couple backflips for us, like in the pits. You know what I mean? Like they were
Nice.
cool. But yeah, he's a tough racer, and so is Keselowski. You know, they're both elbows out dudes.
Hey, you guys want to hear something funny? We were just talking about Hump, right? Grocery shopping.
Hmm.
According to his Discord, he is actually playing solo battle royale.
It might be his son.
Oh, that could be.
They left the son at home so he can forage the north.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, lies.
Yeah, we always see funny stuff like that, and we're like, Hump, are you still playing Fortnite? He's like, it's my son.
Okay.
The son
I'm
always
just
takes
sitting
over.
there like,
As he's sitting in the chair with his wrist brace on playing Fortnite.
like, you're not cleaning a deer.
It's a moose. It's much bigger.
Yeah. Sitting in the chest cavity playing a video game. Is that like Star Wars where he sits in the animal?
Yeah, he's
it's
trying to
warm
stay
in
warm.
here.
Yeah. When it's negative 25, I mean, you gotta take a shot at something.
Oh God, we're snowing here. I don't like it, man. Don't like it at all. Well, I mean, everybody's kind of moved away from the Clash. I was curious. Curious what you guys think on this. iRacing. They keep coming out with these new tracks and everything, and I feel like they need to start working on what they already have. Like keeping up with it and everything. And one of my biggest pet peeves is the sound quality. And I look back, and people have been complaining about it since 2014. The earliest that I saw, but like the cars and everything, nothing sounds like it would in real life. They keep putting all this time together and bringing new tracks, which is great. And I appreciate that, but I also really appreciate we continue to run what they already have. My thing, like, work on the sound. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the races on, like, when they did it on NBC last year, but people that weren't familiar with iRacing were watching it. And that's what they said. It was like, it seemed so fake because of the sound. Like, is there anything else you guys, like, think that maybe they should concentrate on more? Or I don't know.
To add to that, something interesting was I was watching the broadcast from our Friday night triple threat race, and it was interesting because whenever they would use one of like the static cams, you can hear the difference between the truck, the next gen, and the Xfinity. All of them had different sounds. Were they great sounds? Not necessarily, kind of like what you said, but it was cool to hear, like, you know, a truck running next to next gen, and you could hear the difference in there. And they brought it up in the broadcast. My
Yeah.
biggest pet peeve is the iRating system. iRating system
God,
is
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Jamie was there for me raging the other day. I won a race and gained like 92 iRacing, and then the next race I was like the 13 car out of like 15, qualified fourth. The third place guy or second place guy didn't go, stacked us all up, and I think I ended up 11th or something like that as the 13 car out of 15, and I lost 70 iRating. Like, how it makes no sense the way it works.
No.
So
Well,
it's like I might
I'm sure
as well
there's-
have not even raced.
I'm sure there's an algorithm somewhere.
yeah, but there's an algorithm, but like I've learned I feel like the people that have like those really high I ratings, okay, I'll give them the fact that they're probably really good, but they're also fucking lucky because your I rating can be grossly affected by somebody driving like an asswipe.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen people leading and everything get taken out by a lap down car. Actually, if you're watching my stream the other day, you saw a lap down car cut through the grass and completely wipe out the leader. And it's like his I rating's affected, his safety rating's affected. I get it. Without it, you would have mass chaos. But
Yeah,
at the
but
same time, you're punishing somebody for something they really didn't do.
right. But if it's the number one car, that's all fine with me because I'm probably like the number 10. So I'm gonna gain something off of it. You know,
It's a double-edged
It's-
sword.
when I'm the number one car, I have had the worst anxiety in iRacing, right? Like I know it's like
Yeah.
an abused term, anxiety, right? But like I get freaking nervous when I'm the number one car because I got a big old bullseye on me,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And it's not necessarily, I mean, yes, people want to like beat the number one car, but what are they going to do to beat you? You know, are they going to put you in the wall? Are they going to spin you out? Are they going to race you clean? And I think that just has to do with individuality and like personality versus I rating. Because sometimes, man, I'm like, you know, hovering around a 2000 or whatever, and then somebody does something stupid. And I'm like, looks like I'm losing I rating today, boys. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Well, it's tough because I don't like many of us out here, we don't have solutions for it. Like, I don't know what the solution is. The protest system, it works, but it doesn't work. I mean, you really
still
have
don't.
to have somebody fuck up. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen people get away with dumb shit. Y'all know, I think Marty, you were there when I got reported for that
For the
dodging a coat
comment.
hanger comment. That was yeah, I got an email on that one. I don't know if I said it. But yeah. Said that somebody spent the first 9 months of his life dodging a coat hanger. The guy was driving like an ass.
Oh man.
And yeah, he or somebody in the lobby reported me, which I don't care. Whatever. Words hurt apparently nowadays.
Well, hey
Yeah,
guys,
safe
I gotta
place.
bounce out of here for a little bit. Kids are gonna go zip lining in, and I'll log back on if you guys are still in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll I don't know if we're gonna do a full seating today because there's only 2 of us, but hey, this is a great start to our first podcast.
For sure, man.
Appreciate you guys coming out. Hopefully we can build a community together.
All right, dude. Well, we'll holler at you guys later.
See you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Marty.
So yeah, I guess that is what it is at this point. I don't know. I haven't heard from Keith whether or not he's actually going to continue on with us. I believe he's just disinterested. I don't know, which is fine. Whatever.
Like I said, it's gonna take some time to
Yeah,
get
we'll
into a
get in the
routine
rhythm
and
here.
stuff.
I'm not expecting much from this, but you know, I hope we can do something good with it. I hope we can enjoy some talk about NASCAR or IMP racing, whatever you want to talk about. Speaking of-
Everything, life, whatever's
Yeah.
going on that week.
Yeah, this doesn't have to be about racing at all. It brings us together as a group, and hopefully we can build a community and bring us all together.
Yep.
Speaking of it, what you got anything big going this week?
No. Yesterday we got to go out to the dirt track, had a play day. It was cold, which I mean, I guess for us it wasn't cold. It was like 45 to 50, but it was like a 35-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know if you've been to many short tracks, but you always have
Oh,
your grandstands, and then you have your pit side stands for like your pit spectators.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That like grandstand was like moving. The wind was so strong, and it's just, I mean, it's miserable. Just,
Oh,
you
God.
know, you got cars with no windows and stuff like that. It's just, it's cold, you know. We cut down a tire. Basically there was so much bounce because it was a real rough track in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And there was still like a little bit of an edge there, and cut down one of the tires and all that, and having to change it and go through all that stuff when like your hands are frozen. It's just it was fun to be out there, feel it, smell it, hear it, doing all that stuff. But when you got away from it, it was cold. It sucked outside of that. But
You're on.
like I said earlier, it was fun to be back in, the brotherhood and kind of hanging out with everyone.
Are you on a crew?
No, just one of the guys that I know was shaking down two of the cars
Nice.
that they own. So went out there just to kind of be a part of it and stuff like that.
You lucky bastard. Anyway, no, I mean, I miss going to the short track, especially like with family. There was a while. You probably don't know him, Mike Milius. He's a short track Hall of Famer up in the Wisconsin area, Midwest Hall of Fame, I think it is, short track Hall of Fame. I used to ride with him and his haulers and stuff to some of the tracks, and
That's awesome.
it was a blast. Like I miss those days. God, I miss them.
Yeah, we we had a track here called Forest Hill Speedway, and that's where most of us that are, even the ones that are racing these days, like my age, everybody cut their teeth there. It was a nice little high bank track, kind of centralized in Louisiana. You're familiar with Fort Polk, so
Yeah.
Forest Hill was probably about 25, 30 minutes from Fort Polk. And I mean, it was a community. Like the grandstands were made of wood and sucked. Like people like falling through there and stuff. But like the pits and stuff, you got used to the same families being around you. Parking with the same families. You know, using and giving parts, and somebody blow something up. All of a sudden you got three other cars, mechanics working on yours, trying to get you back into that, B main. It's just that culture was awesome growing up. If we weren't in sports, we were at the racetrack. And I mean, we were there with our racing family.
Yeah, I don't think the Army would have let me go watch the race while I was there. What a bunch of dicks.
What year were you there?
Oh God. When did I deploy?
It was
It would have
probably
been
closed down by then.
it would have been the entire month of October 2009.
Oh yeah, it was defunct probably 02, 03, something
Oh
like that.
damn. Okay, well, yeah.
But right there in Leesville had a speedway, 171 speedway, which is the highway right there that goes from Polk to Leesville.
I actually follow a Facebook page. I don't have it in front of me right now, but it's like basically like abandoned racetracks and race cars and stuff like that. It's actually
Yeah,
really
same.
depressing. Yeah, you
Yep.
follow that one too?
Absolutely, I love it.
Yeah, but it's so depressing at the same time. Like the one that I grew up with when Mike Milius, the one I was talking to you about, I'd love to see that racetrack again, but it's now it's a Menards parking lot. Like it's gone.
Forest Hill, yeah, Forest Hill Speedway is a nursery and a pond is basically all that's left to it. Forest Hill is known for their nurseries. Like everything out there is just like plants and trees and stuff like that. And all around where the speedway was, it was all nurseries. And then whenever they sold, because it just, like I was saying, the stands were falling apart and stuff like that, and it was just going to be so expensive to update everything. And in 02 and 03, there's really a drop on like dirt racing. Dirt racing is coming back with a vengeance now, and that's why they're all starting to pop back up and be successful. But there was a certain time where it just, all of it tanked.
Oh man, so depressing to see stuff go. Hey, coming up after this quick break, we're going to talk about a little bit about the upcoming race here, NASCAR at Daytona. See what we're looking forward to. See if we got any small or big stories coming up. Join us after this quick break, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey everybody, check out New Mission Motorsports Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live on Twitch, the only channel dedicated to helping veterans and their families. Also, if you're looking for a league to join, consider Freaky Fast Racing League run by our very own Keith Fonseca. If you're looking for a great league that's safe, fair, and full of wonderful racing, running trucks and GT3s currently, consider Freaky Fast Racing League. See you on the track. All right, so this week, Daytona coming up. Honestly, the thing I'm looking forward to is just seeing these cars perform in a group. I don't think I have any high hopes for any particular driver. I'm curious to see what drivers that we normally see in the back, if they're able to bring it up front. McDowell shocked us last year. But is this next gen car going to be able to bring more guys to the front? You know?
Yeah, your super speedway is always, unpredictable. People like McDowell, getting up there. It's all about just being, well, the way it was being pushed up there and just, right place, right moment, and avoiding the big one. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what these new cars can do. And then, like we were saying, people might be a little cautious, only having so much stuff in the garage. So we'll see how that plays a factor.
Yeah, I feel like these tracks are always like a crapshoot. Like the real test is going to be when you start going to places like Phoenix, Martinsville, the mile and a half, see who has their programs better equipped. But everybody should be pretty much on the same page at this point. So
I'm just ready for racing. It's like the Clash kind of, it been fiending for racing. The Clash kind of quenched it just a little bit, hearing them, seeing them run. But it's like, to hear them get out there in a pack and really, go at it, that's going to be it's just racing's back. That's it. Just racing is back, and I'm excited.
yeah. Is there anything, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of actually positive feedback on the cars. I think they look fantastic. What's your opinion on it? Do you like them? I don't know.
The Mustang is amazing. I
Yeah.
love the way the Mustang looks. I mean, it's just that stance that it has, and that front end and everything. It's perfect. We were talking about manufacturers. Like for iRacing, I run the Chevy truck because I run a Chevy. In real life, I have a Chevy.
Poor
But
guy.
like the Fords, like there's just something always I loved about the Ford cars. So usually whenever it's a Ford truck, is of course my Chevy. But
We all can't be
but
perfect.
yeah, I love the new cars. I love the new trucks. Have you seen the new trucks? Like the
I've
new
seen
trucks look
pictures.
amazing.
The new Toyota actually was shocked by.
Yeah.
And as much as I am a Ford guy, I gotta disagree with the look on the Ford on the trucks. The trucks, I don't know if I dig the front. I really don't. Like,
You should go over to Chevy then.
yeah, but shit, don't do that to me. And I'll admit though, I do like the look of the Chevy better than the Ford. I do. It's a tough pill for me to swallow to want to move to the Chevy. I mean, that's just my personal preference. Fords, I mean,
Yeah.
but as for somebody like me that actually works on vehicles, I would rather work on a Chevy any day over a Ford. Fords
Yeah,
I've
it's a
had.
lot less expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fords though have always been more dependable in my experience. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. That's fine.
Mhm.
In my experience, Fords have been more dependable, but when shit breaks down, it's a pain in the ass. Where Chevys, it's like, oh well, I got to take care of this, no big deal.
They're so used to breaking down that it's easy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
good at it.
Unless you got to work on like their Duramax diesel and you got to take the whole cab off to get to the turbo that fails all the damn time.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't have to deal with that in racing at all. Well, this style anyway.
Yep. But yeah, going back to it, yeah, I love the new cars. Just,
Yeah, I don't understand why people are so hung up on some of the stuff like the number placement and stuff. I was like, can you read it?
oh my God, yes. Like
Right?
I love the number placement. Like
It looks
even
great.
yes, you got so much more room for everything else. It's just, it looks like it flows so much better, especially in the car that has a shorter back end.
Yeah.
Everybody's so upset. Like, oh, traditionalist, number has to be in the middle. No, it does not. Like, who says it has to be in the middle? Like, change with the times. Come on.
It's legible. You know who it is.
Boomers. No,
I
just
mean,
kidding.
yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. No cancel culture right here.
Yeah, well, don't. Hey, I've been called a boomer, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I've had to question myself. I'm like, am I? Am I?
I'm like right in between like everything. I was born in '84, so I'm like lumped with the '80s. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Well, it's like
We fall right in the middle.
Yeah, I was born in '83, and when people characterize me like, "Oh, you're a millennial," it's like, no, I'm not. After like the way things have been going in society, and all of a sudden I looked at it and it's like, son of a bitch, I am technically a
Technically,
millennial.
yes.
Damn it. like, no, don't put me there.
Yeah, I go more with the Gen Z or
Yeah.
Y, whatever it's supposed to be.
I don't
Because I
even
mean,
know.
we didn't have the technology at the beginning of the 80s like they did at the end of the 80s. So you can't really lump us with those guys because it's totally different for us.
Oh, I think in a way, technology, as great as it is, it's kind of screwed us as a people. Like, I mean, you can't have a lively debate anymore. Even as simple as me and you talking about Chevys and Fords.
Hmm.
There's going to be some people that are going to listen to this and think I'm a dumbass, or some people are going to think of this as to consider you a dumbass, and they're going to probably make comments or whatever, brush it off. But I mean, we can't have lively debates anymore without somebody needing to be canceled or insulted or like, come on.
Yep.
People aren't.
And that's what made communities and people great, is the whole checking and balance, debating. What makes
Exactly.
you better and what makes you more educated? Debating people.
Yeah.
Even if you're wrong, you have to understand some things you are going to be wrong about, but you're learning from the person that you're debating with.
And that's
If
okay.
yeah, if you just say, oh, well, he doesn't, see it the way I do, and you turn it off, well, then you get nothing out of it.
Yep.
It's not supposed to be a fight, it's an argument. An
Yep.
argument is two-sided. That's you learning, somebody else learning. A fight is just you yelling at a wall with a wall, not talking back to you because you're not going to listen to what they say anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfectly okay. I mean, you have to learn to be open-minded and see it from other people's sides. And again, this does translate to NASCAR because, especially if you go on social media, Facebook, you follow any of those NASCAR pages and go through the comments, it's almost upsetting. Like,
Yep.
especially when you get, for instance, NASCAR fans upset. They want to see more short tracks. They're tired of the mile and a half. Yada 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 yada. They start insulting each other over it. Now all of a sudden you're given a new venue. You're given a new short track. And instead of sitting back and going, gee, how is this going to go? You instantly see people, oh, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? They're doing it because you told them you wanted them to.
Yep.
I mean, use some common sense. I mean, was it the greatest? No, there was some great moments. I actually loved it. Didn't agree with the halftime thing. Don't understand that at all. But I don't know. I'm not an engineer. Maybe they needed to do it because the tires couldn't handle it. You needed to find a way to be able to do pit stops without trying to do green flag pit stops because it was a pain in the dick, excuse me, to get into the pits. Maybe that's why. We don't know.
I think it was a engine temp thing over anything. I think that's what I had heard, just to let the engines cool a little.
Yeah, and that's
Because
understandable. You're not going.
they can't get any wind through there.
Yeah, your high revs, your limited wind on the radiator, which is not allowing it to cool. I know 2 of the transaxle issues they had was due to temps, which that the technicality side of it's another conversation. I mean, the transaxle on the rear I find kind of strange, but again, that's me being a little old school. I got it myself a degree in automotive engineering and technology, and to me, it's a little outside the box. But if it works, it works.
See, for me, like the mechanic side, that's the part I don't get, and that's what we were laughing at the racetrack yesterday. Like, as much as I would love to get back into it, I don't have the mechanic skills. My dad was my mechanic, so it's like when we raced and stuff, like, yeah, I was a good wheelman, but whenever something broke, I didn't even know where to start with it. And that's where he was just good at working on everything.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't have that. So it's like I don't even know where to begin.
Oh man, it's a when I got out of the army, I was like you did law enforcement. I was military police for 11 years. And my hope when I got out was, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go racing. So
Yeah.
didn't have the funding, still don't have the funding. Didn't have the experience. So, well, I can learn that. So I went to college on the GI Bill, got this degree and experience. And I was hoping to build something off of that. And I'm sorry, but without the funding, it couldn't happen. But oh my God, switching to being a mechanic, that's a lot of work. A lot of it, like people look down on mechanics and stuff like that, but it's like you realize how smart you actually have to be to do that. Sometimes
Absolutely.
I wasn't smart enough.
Yeah, and some people, it's so natural.
Yeah.
Like again, especially at a short track or like a little home track. somebody will jump under there and like they'll diagnose something without like hearing it and like seeing it. They'll break down that engine, from after a heat, and you're in a B main, trying to get into an A main. Like guys pretty much rebuilt the engine.
Oh
Like
yeah.
these guys, like, they pick on them because the way they dress, the way they talk, they call them hillbillies and stuff like that. But man, these guys are amazing at what they do. I mean, way better than
God.
anything I could ever do.
Especially the electrical side of it. The electrical side of automotive engineering is just ridiculous, especially with the new electric cars coming out, which again, I don't really agree fully with it. Electrical, I think, is a way to go, the way we're going. It's better than internal combustion engine, but you will never really get rid of the internal combustion engine. And I think if NASCAR went to the electric, which they were talking about, I believe, a while ago, I'm glad they didn't. Like, to me, the sound and everything is part of NASCAR. I'm sorry,
Yep.
but I don't fully think that's the way to go completely. I mean, I don't know.
If NASCAR ever went to electric engines and they were silent, my wife would not have Sunday afternoon naps, because literally what puts her to sleep is the sound of cars going around and around.
Yeah.
And it puts her in a daze and she sleeps like a baby.
That's the thing.
And she's laughing at me right now because she heard all of that.
Well, a few years ago, well, it's been a while. I took my wife to Richmond. She always said that she could fall asleep at a racetrack, and we went to Richmond Raceway, excuse me. Did the NASCAR Cup Series race up there, and yeah, she just looked like she could go to sleep. I'm like, really? How?
The one of the coolest things, just to build on that, one of the coolest feelings was, you said you've been to Bristol.
Oh yeah.
Weirdest thing about Bristol is going from the concourse out to where the seating is, and you could almost feel the sound or the wind of the cars going around in circles. It's like you walk through out of that concourse and it just hits you. It's the only place I really felt where, you can feel what's going on the track.
Oh my God. Like the whole stadium, the whole Coliseum like vibrated. It was nuts. And yeah, the smell like
Yeah.
gets trapped in there, even the bad smells. I was there in 2011, and Harvick blew his engine, I think it was. But when he ran by, oh my God, that smell just stayed there forever. And I'm sorry, but burning oil was bad.
Yeah, that's a horrible smell.
Yeah. Kyle Busch won that day, sadly. Oh, I was so pissed. The one day, that was my very first race I've ever gone to in NASCAR, and Kyle Busch won. I was so internally not happy.
I stopped going to Texas races because Kyle Busch kept winning them. So
Yeah, I
got
mean,
tired of seeing him win.
I don't hate the dude, but I mean, the guy's got talent. The guy has got some incredible talent, but I didn't like him as a person. He's getting better, but you can't deny that he's got a lot of skill.
He has that it factor where there's no fear,
Yeah.
and what's his face? Kyle has Kyle. I'm drawing a blank. What's his last name?
Larson?
Yes, thank you. Man, it's still early morning.
Yeah.
Larson has that same factor. Like they're fearless. Like they'll put those cars in places where, an able-bodied, minded person would be like, no, like you shouldn't do that. These guys just have that factor where that fearlessness is what gives them their speed. They can do stuff with the car because they just do it and react to it rather than thinking before it.
Larson, I see a lot of brilliance in that kid, the way he drives his cars. Like,
Yep.
like Kyle Busch, I've seen him do some amazing things. Like back in, I can't quote me on the years here, 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there, Kyle should have lost it at Daytona a couple of times. He was on the apron, up on the track, on the apron, up on the track in the turn, and he saved it, and it was amazing.
Yep.
Seeing stuff like that is great, but Larson repeatedly on every track he goes to, if he wants to do it, he puts that car right on the edge of the wall. And I don't think anybody does it better than him, honestly.
No, I mean, that's the Larson line. Only person that might have been able to do it is Dell Jr. Dell Jr. would run
Yeah.
that really that wall line, but nobody has gotten close as Larson does. I mean,
None
I
of them.
try and do it on iRacing, and it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, and
I'm not
that's the
doing it in
fake
VR where I could see it. Yeah, and it still makes me nervous.
Yeah, and I can't do it either. Like I prefer the high line, and I say I'm larcening it, but I'm not. I'm not.
There's still like a whole nother groove.
There isn't. Yeah, like there's a car. The car can still go around me. But I mean, I noticed that it is actually quicker up on the top on a lot of tracks, and Larson has that shit figured out.
Yeah.
That dude.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm wall riding it. Oh, look, somebody just passed me on the outside. Like, how'd they fit? And then you
Yeah.
look at a replay and they had like a whole lane.
Well, this
Yeah.
week on iRacing, I don't know if you've tried it yet, but they're doing the Lucas Oil in the trucks and the B cars.
Dude,
Trucks in Xfinity.
I am not a flat track guy. Like, I suck at my throttle control.
You have to ride the wall on that track, and it
Really?
sucks. Yeah, I've done a couple races there. I finished third the other day. I was first. Yeah, I finished third, and I was the first car a lap down. If that tells you anything. So,
Jeez.
the guys that did it know how to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
but that track is probably the worst. I don't understand why they would schedule the Xfinity cars and the trucks there on iRacing. It's like, well, we don't do it in real life. I hear that they're going to, but
Yeah.
oh man, is it boring? And it's just a wall ride. Don't hit the wall too hard track. So
Yeah. Only thing I could think of is, with the actual schedule starting next week, they're probably just trying to, fill some spot, and because you're going to have Daytona and start running
Yeah.
with the schedule and your officials. So maybe they just threw something in there since they're possibly going to be doing it, just kind of fit it in there.
it's a way to get the consumer familiar with it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of your iRacing people are fans of the sport. So, I mean, that's one way to look at it. It's like, well, I've run this track on iRacing. Let's see how they do it in real life. And because a lot of stuff that I've actually learned, I go back and watch a lot of my own VODs, my own clips, see what I could have done differently. But I also watch the YouTube videos and like, okay, what do they do in real life that works? Obviously, their setup is way better than mine, especially if I'm using a fixed versus their high speed.
Yep.
Gee, I wish I had that support, but I don't. But you can learn from them. And I like the fact that iRacing, you can translate from one to the other almost. There's still differences. I get it. I'm not dumb or naive, but
Yeah, it is nice being a part of something though that is so realistic. And we were talking about it earlier, just the science of racing and stuff, tapping your brake so it drops your front end so that, you can unload and load your
Yeah.
car getting ready for a turn, and then how that affects, everything from your tires to your speed to, even conserving fuel. That's what a lot of people don't get. They just see left turns and they don't see all the little minute things that is going together to make a 200 lap race.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking about at some point here in the next few months holding a charity event. It might be a long race. I'm going to talk to some other streamers to do it. I mean, you're definitely welcome to come too, obviously. But to hold a charity event for veterans and their families. Again, those of you listening, the new Mission Motorsports channel that I've started, and Marty here is a huge contributor, huge benefiter. We are putting together this channel to help veterans in need, help their families. I'm part of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. It is a nonprofit organization, and I don't need the money, but others do. So I'm hoping to have fun with this. We're hoping to have fun with this. Marty and I have never even met before until this. He's been helping a lot. Jamie in the channel that was in here is helping out a lot. Keith has been a huge help as well. We're building a community, and I'm hoping to continue it. Marty, I think it's about time we wrap this up. We're getting a little late on time here. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, and I want to just second right quick what you said. Everybody that's listening to this, there's so many veterans that, need support, that are afraid to ask for support. Just it's always been a mission to me to help out our veterans. I mean, we'll talk about it on another podcast and stuff, just why I have my stance that I have. But please, if you're watching this, share it, if you can support, just do your part, they did theirs, let's do ours. I mean, that's coming from the civilian side of it. But I can't wait to see how this grows, and it's definitely all for the right reason.
Very well said, man. Thank you so much for your help with this. That would be an interesting conversation for a podcast, why we do it. I mean, yes, I am a veteran, but I have specific reasons why I do it. I mean, I've lost a few friends, I've gained a few, but we'll work it out. Thank you all for joining us today. Check us out, New Mission Motorsports. We are live on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday nights. Not tonight, though. Super Bowl night. We will see you guys later. You guys have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.